Hey there, thanks for watching. In this video, I'm going to talk all about eating out, how my eating out costs have skyrocketed lately. I'm going to show you exactly where and how much I spent eating out over the past 3 months and what I'm planning on doing about my skyrocketing costs of eating out. So if that sounds interesting to you, then just keep watching. Every now and then, usually quarterly, I like to do a review of my spending to make sure that everything is in line. I had a feeling, an inkling that my eating out costs were skyrocketing, and that feeling was confirmed by the numbers. So to kind of give you some background and an idea of how I knew that my costs were going up and why they were going up, I'll just kind of give you the lay of the land. I keep track of all my spending every day in an Excel spreadsheet. I just literally enter in the date, the amount, how much I spent, where, and why. And I have that running throughout the year, and that helps me really get a handle on my spending, especially in the areas of eating out, because that's one of the biggest categories in my budget, and that is one of the categories that tends to skyrocket very easily if I don't keep on top of it. So some of the reasons why this category skyrocketed, there were actually 3 main reasons. The first reason was that I have been traveling more than usual lately. And when you travel, it's just kind of a given that you'll have to spend additional money on food because you don't have the conveniences, or even if you do have a kitchen in your lodging, you'll have to buy the groceries like you would at home, but there are also opportunities to eat out. So really more opportunities to eat out. So in addition to traveling, there were also special occasions, and that was reason 2 that I have kind of been eating out a lot more. We had a couple birthdays and then a holiday that just passed that I ate out with family and friends for recently. The third reason is kind of the reason that generally contributes to an increase in spending, and that is just kind of a lack of planning. And on that front, it may just be because you don't know exactly the details of what's going to happen. In the case of my travel, it was a little bit unplanned in the moment with the whole situation worldwide. We weren't sure if we would be able to travel, but also kind of the details of that travel weren't very specific and weren't known until sort of the last minute. There were also things that I could have planned for. So under the heading of planning, there are things that I can control and things that I can't control. You can't really control what you'll be in the mood for, but you can control what you plan for and what you have ready for. So in the case of the holidays, we had a holiday that we were kind of traveling, going back and forth to celebrate, and we didn't know exactly what we would be in the mood for as far as food goes. However, I could easily have planned something and done like a casserole. So that's just an example of how, despite not knowing the full details, I could have planned a little bit differently and a little bit better. So to give some context on the details of what I normally spend, the amount that I spent for the past 3 months is easily triple what I typically spend eating out every 3 months. So I did a video on my eating out and grocery spending for 2019. At the beginning of 2020, I did a complete review of my spending on restaurants and groceries over the whole year of 2019. And I will link to that video here, wherever it ends up being. That gave me a very clear idea of exactly how much I was spending. So I thought that I was spending a lot back then. This amount that I'm spending this year is 3 times that amount. Alrighty, so here are the numbers for everything I've spent eating out for the past 3 months and a few days into April, which I included simply because they are big expenses and I want to be accountable for them. So here are the details, and I started from the lowest cost going up to the highest cost, and I will review them because I need to stay accountable, and it's just good to see this level of clarity. So the way that I have this information is because I track all my spending every single day, so if I have a big expense, I write it down. And while it might be painful at the time, it really helps me keep track of exactly what I'm spending, so again, I can see where those big expenses are starting to add up. So I'll start from the lowest cost and go through to the highest cost. You can see what I spent and where. So these first few days, I'd say the first 5 are all food out. However, this was food out with family and friends, and I would say of anything in this eating out category, this is probably what it could comfortably trim. Ice cream and chicken nuggets was a snack, and I brought it home. The new chicken sandwich was the KFC new chicken sandwich that we tried out. I tried out with my mom. The omelet was with a friend, and the McDonald's was with my mother in February. We just went out for a fast food date. And then over here again, McDonald's, it says Burger King, but it was just fast food out. So these are the first 5 things that I spent. And if you see in total, we have a total of $39 on, $53 for fast food. So the next few items are things that I got with, again, with family. This Three Boys Pizza, my mom and I do a Pizza Friday. She really enjoys it, and I like doing that with her. So we get it from a local pizza place that is great. We're in New Jersey. We have the best pizza on the planet. Feel free to argue with me on that, but that's what I think. It costs $18, and I pay cash. This enchiladas and tacos. So this was a travel meal at Tijuana Flats in Orlando. And this again was a meal out with a friend. This was a snack that I just got recently from the new Hudson Yards complex in the city. This was insomnia cookies and bubble tea out. This was spending for a cafe, at a cafe in Aruba. So that was travel related. And that's something that I really, that I'm happy to spend on. Because when you're traveling, you want to experience the local sort of culture, and it's also that you got to spend money when you travel on food, and I try to do that in the most cost-efficient manner possible. So moving down, this is our Friday lunch out with my mom. This was another expense in Aruba at a sort of a local cafe by the beachfront. These 2 items pick up from the diner, so in total that's $48 and $57, which is $105, that we got over the holiday weekend. We were just kind of in transit to services and just picked up food on the way. This was sushi with my mom once more. This was a lunch out on sort of I'm going to call it an evening out, an afternoon out in the village. And this was one more evening out with my mom. This was pizza out on another outing. We traveled down to Delaware. And these last 3 items, you can see these were the big events. And in total, that was $628. So these 3 items were the 3 items that were absolutely 100% the best time eating out. There were 2 dinner meals in Aruba for a birthday, and this last meal was an Easter brunch buffet that again was lovely, but at a significant expense. These are the 3 that I would absolutely not want to touch. So if I had to keep, out of all of these 28 different items, if I could only keep 3, I would keep those 3 experiences and then get rid of the other ones or find a cheaper way to do the other ones. So this is a review that I just kind of try to do quarterly to make sure that I'm looking at the details and seeing exactly where I can cut, really sharpening the pencil, taking out that sharper knife, and making sure that I'm really optimizing my budget to the best that I possibly can. If you missed that grand total, that's $1,406.43. So the question is, what am I going to do about these eating out costs that are starting to skyrocket? So I've got a 3-pronged approach, and the number one thing I can do that I can control is I can plan better. I can start batch cooking or cooking just a little bit more than I normally do, and then freezing that and having it ready to go. Because it's a lot easier to come home and eat what you have in the fridge if you know that you have something in the fridge. And then you just kind of forget what you're in the mood for and decide to be in the mood for what you have in the fridge or freezer ready to go. So that's the number one thing that I can do. The number 2 thing that I can do is I can start to kind of consider the events that may be coming up and the special events that are coming, and how to adjust my costs in a way that will allow for a little bit of extra spending. So adjusting what I can control to make room for the costs that I can't necessarily estimate. And the third thing that I can do, that I'm working on doing with this channel and overall, is earn more money. So I know there's that very real instance of lifestyle creep where you start to earn a little bit more money, or you start hanging around with people that have a little bit more money, and your costs start to slowly but steadily increase. I know that is for sure what's happening to me right now, and I'm doing this review to kind of hold myself accountable for these increasing eating out costs. I am saying to myself, hey, this is a problem, and what can I do to help address that problem? And one of the main things I can do is start earning more money while cutting those costs to help keep that lifestyle creep at bay. So that's where I am as far as my eating out costs and kind of what's been going on lately with me. I hope you don't mind this casual setting. I am outdoors on the back porch, enjoying this beautiful April day. There's a ladder behind me right there that you just saw as I'm kind of recording this on the fly and giving you a look inside the real life way that I manage my money. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope that you'll keep watching. Bye.